The morning sun slanted through the kitchen window, catching the dust motes dancing above the pile of volunteer flyers for the Rotary Club book fair. Gerald was carefully applying marmalade to his toast, a ritual of precision honed over decades. The landline, the proper one, with a cord rang with its particular, insistent jangle. "Grandad, it's me." The voice on the other end was young, male, thick with faux distress, a crack in the word "me," artfully placed. Gerald's heart, a veteran of 71 years, gave one hard, practiced thump against his ribs. His hand went instinctively to his chest, not in pain, but as if to steady the old clockwork inside. He had 2 grandsons, Liam, whose voice had settled into a pleasant baritone, and Sam, who was still a bit of a reed. "Sam?" Gerald ventured, playing the opening move. "Yeah, it's Sam," the voice rushed, seizing the name. "Listen, I'm in a real bind. I borrowed a mate's car to pop to the shops, and... oh, Grandad, I had a little bingle. No one's hurt." The script was delivered with the hurried conviction of a bad actor in a community theater thriller. Gerald sat down slowly on the stool by the phone table, the one with the notepad that always read, "Milk, bread, dignity." He said nothing, just let the quiet hum. "The thing is," the voice plunged on, "the other driver is being a right jerk. Says if I don't pay for the damage on the spot, $2,000 cash, he'll call the cops. I've got my license, but, you know, it'll look bad. Can you help? I'm so sorry, Grandad." The fear in the voice was almost perfect. Almost, but it lacked the specific, underlying texture of real, familial panic. The unspoken layer that communicates, "I'm about to be in a world of trouble with my parents." This fear was a monoculture, a generic brand. Gerald felt the initial clutch of terror begin to unspool, replaced by something colder and sharper. This wasn't some distant, faceless scam. This was a predator who'd studied his kind, who knew which strings to pull to make an old man dance. Rage, quiet and deep, began to simmer where the fear had been. He looked across the room. His gaze landed on the Rotary Club flyers, on the collection tin for the local animal shelter next to his keys. An idea, absurd and beautiful, began to form. "Sam," Gerald said, his own voice softening with a grandfather's concern. "Oh, my boy. Of course. 2,000, you say?" A palpable wave of relief gushed down the line. "Yes, Grandad. Cash. I can have a courier come to your house right now to pick it up. To save time." "A courier," Gerald repeated, nodding to himself. "Right. Well, here's the thing, Sam. I don't keep that kind of cash in the house. You know me. Still prefer a checkbook for anything over 50 quid. A slight hesitation. Check? I don't think that'll work, Grandad. It needs to be cash." No, I insist," Gerald said, his tone shifting into the gently firmer register he used when explaining why one must wear a coat in the rain. "It's safer this way. Now, I'll write the check out too. What was your friend's name? The one whose car you borrowed?" The silence this time was different. It was the silence of a machine trying to compute an unexpected variable. It's for the other driver. His name is Smith." "John Smith?" Gerald asked, the ghost of a smile touching his lips. "Yeah, John Smith." "Right then," Gerald said cheerfully. He picked up his pen from the notepad. "Pay to the order of John Smith, £2,000. He made a show of scratching the pen on the pad. "But you know, Sam, since we're doing this properly, I'm going to add a little something extra." "Extra?" The voice was wary now. "Oh, yes. You see, hearing your voice in such a state, it's reminded me of what's important. Community, helping those in need." Gerald's voice was brimming with deliberate grandfatherly warmth. "So, I'm adding another 500. But that extra bit isn't for Mr. Smith. I'm making that portion out to the Brackendale Animal Rescue Trust. They do such good work with those abandoned greyhounds, you know. I'm sure Mr. Smith won't mind a charitable donation being part of the settlement. In fact, it might soften him up, don't you think? Show him you're from good charitable stock. The line was dead silent. Gerald could practically hear the scammer's brain short-circuiting, trying to process a Mark who was not only refusing to hand over cash, but was attempting to redirect funds to a dog shelter. You can't do that. The voice finally spat, all pretense of Sam gone, replaced by metallic frustration. Why ever not? Gerald asked, innocence dripping from his words. It's my check. My money. I can make it out to whomever I please. I could make it out to the Society for the Preservation of Vintage Teapots if I wanted. Now, shall I read you the check number, Sam? Or should I just pop it in the post to the animal rescue? Tell them a kind young man in a spot of trouble inspired the gift. The response was a blistering, incoherent stream of curses, utterly alien to the voice of his supposed grandson. It was the sound of a cheap facade shattering. Gerald listened for a moment, then gently placed the receiver back in its cradle, cutting off the ugly noise. The kitchen was quiet again, filled only with sunlight and the faint, friendly scent of marmalade. He looked at the pretend check he'd scribbled on his notepad. Beneath, Brackendale Animal Rescue Trust, he'd written, in neat capitals, funded by a disappointed grandfather and a very bad actor. He chuckled, a low, warm sound. Then he picked up his real checkbook, wrote out an actual donation for £50 to the animal shelter, and slipped it into the tin. He'd turned a attempted theft into a charitable donation. However small, it felt like a rebalancing of the universe. The phone rang again 10 minutes later. He let it. After 4 rings, his answering machine, a relic he kept for precisely this reason, clicked on. You've reached Gerald. I'm afraid I'm currently occupied funding unexpected acts of kindness. Do leave a message after the tone. He took a bite of his cold toast. The marmalade was perfectly sharp, and the victory, though small, was exceptionally sweet.